Yes, clear.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, I just use this one then. The training is supposed to be 9 to 1, but then generally we will finish before that lah. Right, it's not going to be a training that will take too much time. Neither should it be that short, hopefully. Right, good morning. I'm Cindy. I'm from the School of Communication and Creative Arts in the UG campus. All right. Okay, before we start our uh, sharing session, I wouldn't call it training. All right, I'd like you to just answer these two questions because these are the two questions I can set up. Wait, one moment, copy link. You can just go on to the chat box for the link. That would be great. Okay. Could you do the survey there on the using the link given? Oh, I think I gave you the wrong one. Probably this one. Correct. Before we start our session, could you just answer the two questions using the link, the second link given? Okay. Okay, cannot be changed. Fine. Cannot. Okay, how come you won't change to the next slide? Sorry, this is the first time I'm using Mentimeter. I thought it would be all right. Correct. Would anyone be able to help me to let me know how to go to the next slide?
See,
Yeah,
you try to click present first.
sorry,
Present there.
click present. Then. No, it just opens on Mentimeter. Okay. Oh, you can do that now? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
now
Okay, thank you. Oh, okay. So, okay, all right. So these would be the two questions that I can use with Menti. All right, so must formative assessment be graded? 5 said yes, 2 says no. Sorry, the don't know one is the one that I was trying to do that. All right, the next one would be this one. When should formative assessment be given? Okay. There's no answer there? Oh, okay. Okay. Only one answer, is it? You can choose more than one answer. For this question, you can choose more than one answer. So when should formative assessment be given? At the end of a lesson, during a lesson, as homework or asynchronous work? Okay, all right, cool. Thank you very much for answering the questions. All right, cool. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, all right. Okay, come, let me just one moment. Pause my computer. Okay, all right. So today our session will be on formative assessment. I'm Cindy from the School of Communication. All right. The learning outcome for this session would be to understand what formative assessment is, explore a variety of formative assessment strategies. All right. Okay. Let us just start. All right. Some theoretical background to this one. Right. For assessment, there are two types of assessments. Formative assessment and summative assessment. For formative assessment, all right, formative assessment helps students to learn and to practice, whereas summative assessment is what you usually give at the end of the semester. That would be like final exam, or we have midterm exams, or we can have a weekly quiz, that kind of thing, right? Summative assessment, it is used to assess students' performance, usually at the end of the semester, and that is to collect the students' evidence of student knowledge, skill, or proficiency. Basically, we will give a grade to the students for the summative assessment. All right, and to see whether we have achieved the learning outcomes or not. That's why we have our GIR with the percentage of CLO achieved and whatnot and stuff. Right, for formative assessment, right, it basically is to give the lecturers feedback as to see whether how much the students have understood. But this during the course of the semester. All right, it helps students to learn and to practice. And if in a way, if the students work given and we find that a lot of students have got problems answering a particular topic or question, all right, that would help us to identify what areas we need to focus on to help students to perform better to meet the learning outcome also. All right, so this would be the difference between summative and formative. So summative generally is towards the end of the semester. Formative is as and when needed generally, and generally is not really graded in a sense. So what is formative assessment? Formative assessment is what they call a systematic process to continuously gather evidence about learning. If it's systematic process to continuously gather evidence, that would mean that when we have let's say we have a 2-hour lesson, a 3-hour lesson, we wouldn't just want to have a 2 hours lecture. Then after that, ask the students, do you understand? The students generally would say they understand. But the problem is when we give them work to do, we also do not understand how the students can understand when they say they understand, but actually they do not understand. That was what happened to me also when I was teaching. I teach English. So one of the subjects I taught would be critical writing and referencing skills. And what happened when I first started teaching this subject was that as part of the syllabus, all right, there was this one part where the students have to do referencing and in-text citation. So being the first time teaching it, I was like, okay, I had a 2-hour lesson, wonderful PowerPoint to show them how to do in-text citation, how to do referencing skills. Okay, after 2 hours, okay, understand? Yes. Then after that, I gave them the practice. And when they submitted their practice, I mean, all the slides were there, they can just reference it. But students being students, right, they will just do whatever they want to do. And I had a shock of my life, in a sense. Okay, the slides are there, but how come you are still not doing what you're supposed to do for in-text citation and referencing? So in between that one, that would be, it would be very good to break up the lesson. I find that if after I finish a topic on in-text citation, then I would give them some maybe MCQ just to test whether they can actually follow or not. Then after that, they do the work. Rather than after finishing a 2-hour class, 3-hour class, and after that I get a shock of my life in a sense. Right? At least I would know that, okay, most of them are not able to understand what I've told them, then I will need to reinforce, repeat what I told them. And being new students, most of them are first semester students, they would be they would have never been exposed to what is in-text citation. So that is why it is probably important to actually drum into them that there's a need for in-text citation to do it properly and whatnot and stuff. All right, just that. Let me just share what I meant just now. And I will have to share screen. A Mentimeter, I will close. All right, so this would be this one here. All right, so this would be my slides for in-text citation. Okay, all right, so this is in-text citation. Then I get them to watch a video of what is in-text citation and whatnot. Then after that, this would be the notes. In-text citation, pretty simple. That would be to put the author's surname and last name and put the year. That is in-text citation. And this is example of in-text citation. You have narrative citation and parenthetical citation. And this is how you do it. All right, narrative citation, you put the author's name, then in brackets the year, and then after that, quotation and all those. Whereas parenthetical citation is you put it in the quotes in quotation. Then after that, put the author's name in bracket, comma with the year. That would be these two types of citation, in-text citation. Okay, all right. So this would be a rather simple one in a sense. All right. Then after that, I will get them to do a quiz. All right. The quiz would be something like this. Okay, I just preview it to you. All right. So which is the correct in-text citation? All right. Then the students will have to choose. So at least I would know whether they actually can follow or not and whatnot and stuff. A lot of times where the students have to do in-text citation, they will choose the first one. They will write the first one. All right. For whatever reason. All right. So that kind of thing. Okay, wait. Next one, this is another one. All right, so this is in-text citation for one author, whereas this is in-text citation for two authors. And a lot of times students also being students, they will probably choose the one in orange. All right, something like this. Okay, all right, so this would be a quiz, all right, to at least let me know whether they can follow or not. If a lot of them got it wrong, then at least I can go through it again with them. Then after that, all right, as practice, all right, then I will go through the different types of in-text citation, how you can do it for two authors, three authors, and whatnot, and stuff like that. Pretty technical, not to say technical, but pretty boring stuff in a way. All right, but students would need to know. Then after that, all right, they would need to do an activity, all right, in which they would have to actually practice writing the author's in-text citation for one author, no year published, for three authors and whatnot, all right. And I can generally would get them to do it on Padlet, all right. So I will write down their names. If the class size is small, I would write down their names on Padlet, and then after that get them to fill up the information there. So at least they can see what their friends have written and what they have written in a sense, right? Rather than they just fill up in a Word document sent to me, then I mark in a sense. All right, so at least they can see what the others have written, and then at least they can probably follow or something like this and whatnot. Okay, all right, just that. Okay, all right. So this is what is formative assessment. And then, all right, basically for formative assessment, these are the questions that we probably need to ask, which is, where is the learner going? And where is the learner now? And how will the learner get to where he or she needs to be? All right. So generally, where is the learner going would be the learning outcome, right? What is it that we want the learner to achieve? And where is the learner now? So after we have gone through some parts of our lessons, we will give them like a quiz or assessment. It can be MCQ. MCQ will be the easiest to conduct because the answers are there, all right, and we can actually get to know, the students get to know the answers very quickly also. And then after that, based on the quiz and the feedback, all right, we will be able to see what needs to be done to help the learners to achieve the CLO. So that would be how will the learner get to where he or she needs to be. So far, is it all right? If you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me and let me know. It's been very quiet. Okay, why is formative assessment important? Moment, yeah. Okay, all right. So to encourage some participation, perhaps you like to in here. This is the Padlet form. All right, maybe you would like to type your answers here, right, as to this question. Why is formative assessment important? You just, sorry. You just need to click on this one, and then after that, if you want to type your name, it's up to you. Whether you want to type your name or not, it's up to you. But for my students, I would get them to type their names or their student ID. And if I want to allow some creativity, ask them to upload a photo that is non-offensive. And they love putting up their photos or photos of whatever they like. So the question would be, why is formative assessment important? I should have how many people? 13 people in here. It allows us to check on students' understanding, right? Students, it helps us to adjust our lecture pace or notes if some students cannot catch up. Yes, that's true. Anyone else? It is to monitor their progress and provide feedback, right? It will help identify the weakness and strength. To check students' understanding, we proceed to the next topic or subtopic. Yes. To check what students have achieved in the topic. To achieve the learning outcome of the topic. Yes. Okay, all right. So basically, this would be some of the reasons why formative assessment is important. All right, it helps us to check students' understanding, to adjust our lecture notes or pace, monitor students' progress, provide feedback, and help student instructors improve their teaching and learners learn better. Yes, that's true. So, right, to see students' level of understanding, right, to identify the weaknesses and strengths, and to help to check students' understanding before we proceed to the next topic or subtopic. Right, right. This would be all the reasons why formative assessment is important. All right, right. So this would be it also. All right, improve student learning and teaching effectiveness, provides just-in-time feedback, help students learn to monitor own learning, and help students feel less anonymous. Help students feel less anonymous would be in the event that we have a class of more than 50 students, all right? And at least if we were to give a lecture, all right, we see students' faces only. But when students have to do work, they would know that, okay, I'm submitting work to the teacher individually. The teacher will at least know my name, the work they have submitted in a sense, all right? Because some students, they generally would not want to approach the lecturer if they do not have it, if they do not understand, they rather approach their friends because they're shy or something like this. So by submitting their work, at least it feels that there's a connection with the lecturer in a way through their work. This one. Okay, one moment. Strength. Correct. Okay, all right. And types of, before we move on to the types of formative assessment, all right. And for formative assessment, when, can I just, can you just give me a 1 minute break? I would need to attend to someone first. Sorry, yeah, give me a 1 minute break. Okay, sorry about this. All right, sorry. Okay, all right, as I was saying, all right, so this would be why formative assessment is important. So when should we give formative assessment? Just now in there, you said that is at the end of the lesson. Some of you said that during the lesson or as homework. All right, we can actually give formative assessment as and when needed. It doesn't have to be exactly at the end of the lesson. All right, it can be in between subtopics that you can actually interpierce it with some formative questions. All right, so from formative assessment questions. All right, because if your topic is quite big, all right, and there are a lot of subtopics, you may want to break the lesson into chunks so that at least after a subtopic, the students, you can actually ask the students some questions. There's like a break in between also, so that to actually get to know whether the students understood this subtopic before you move on to the next subtopic. So it would be as and when needed. All right. Sometimes you can actually give it to at the beginning of some lesson to actually to see how much the students have the prior knowledge of the students. So if the students most of the students actually know some basics, then at least you don't have to focus so much on the basics and can move on to the more nitty-gritty of the subtopic or the topic in a sense. Okay. All right. So what are the types of formative assessment? All right. What types of formative assessments have you given to your students? You use the same Padlet that you actually used just now to just type in your answers. What are the types of formative assessments that you have used? This is a link again, same link. Short answer statements. Quiz it. I'm just going to put it in color so it's easier. True and false MCQ. That puzzle. What types of questions can you use as formative assessment? You can use short answer statements, true, false questions, MCQ, fill in the blanks. Yes. Kahoot, reflection essay. You okay. You use Kahoot, you ask them to write a reflection essay, ask the students directly. Yes, sometimes all you need to do is just, if you have a small group of students, you can just ask the question and the students can answer. That's pretty direct. And students have to stay alert also. Okay, all right. So the types of formative assessments would generally be questions that the students can answer very quickly. If it's during the lesson, all right. If it's like a reflection essay, then probably the students will need some time to write the answer, and also you would need to read through it also. And for formative assessment also, we would want to be able to have the answers the question marked very quick, the answers marked very quickly, so that the students can get their feedback also, and we can also very quickly get the feedback. Because no point getting them to write an essay, then after that it takes us 2 or 3 weeks to mark the essay, and then after that we have moved on to the next topic already also, to a certain extent. Okay, all right. So this one, right? Okay, all right. So before we decide on the type of assessment, all right, we need to decide what is to be assessed, and we need to choose the technique that provides this feedback, all right, and it can be easily implemented. For me, I generally do not really like to mark uh, uh, as much as possible, but since I'm teaching writing, I would need to read essays, but I do not give essays to students every week. So, and uh, and because it involves other things also in writing, so I would want something that can be easily implemented, so that it can be marked very quickly. Students can get feedback very quickly also, and I will also get the students' answers very quickly. And he has to be consistent with our teaching style, because yeah, and also it has to help us to review the results, and also allow us to make changes if necessary. Okay, all right. So what are the types of questions? All right, I'm sure you have all stated already. Questions, pop quizzes, the minute paper, journals, or through discussion also. Discussion can be group discussion, all right, or it can be a discussion question. You have it on open learning, that kind of thing. Questions, again, same thing. All right, short answer questions, short uh, MCQ, true false questions, that kind of thing. Journals would be reflection essay and whatever not. Okay, all right. And we can also make use of applications. Instead of just asking them to fill up the paper, MCQ, these things on Google Form, all right, we make it into a little bit more of we can gamify the assessment, all right? You can actually play Kahoot, all right, and through Quizlet, through Quizlet, and just now someone said Edpuzzle. I'm quite sure there are many different apps that we have used, all right. And besides Kahoot, Quizlet, Quizlet, Edpuzzle, are there any other apps that you use that is interesting, that at least we can know from here, and we can actually find out more besides the ones that I've listed, and besides Edpuzzle? Any other apps that you use that you find that is interesting, students can make use of it, and it's free in a sense, the app, besides Google Form? Any other apps? You don't have to type it here, all right? If you want to, you can actually just tell us verbally also.
I use Quizlet.
Oh, you use Quizlet.
Yeah, Quizlet is good for groups assessment. Not means that it's still a formative assessment, but you need to perform in groups to answer the questions.
Oh, for Quizlet.
Yeah, Quizlet.
For groups.
Mhm.
That's right. This one, right? The spelling, is it correct?
Yes.
For Quizlet. All right. Okay, you have restated here. Very good. Any others? For me, it's like for me, technology is something that I need to learn. So if I'm very comfortable with that one, I'll probably use it. Like Kahoot, I've been using it like for some time, and I got pretty bored of it already. So these days I actually use Quizlet, yeah, Quizlet, to actually ask the students to do the work. Of course, sometimes I would need them to submit their written work. Is either through Google Form, or they submit through Word document and upload on Google Form also, in a sense. But of course, we can actually make use of open learning to actually ask them to do it too. Okay, all right. All right, so this one. All right, feedback given. Question is this: how do we make sure students use the feedback given? Sometimes it's like, we give them the MCQ, then after that they know the answer. Okay now. Then how do we ensure that the students they just basically for students, right, when you give them an assessment, you return the work to them, all right, if there's no, the first thing they do is they look for a grade or a mark. Then after that, that's it. But sometimes when for a formative assessment, a grade and a mark is not important. The main thing is to tell them where they have gone wrong, what they have done correct. So if they have done something correct, then that's good. But if they have made a mistake, all right, let's say for example for me, all right, for in-text citation or reference list, wrong a comma that is not there, I will need to highlight. Something that is supposed to be in capital letters that is not, I need to highlight to them. And when I return to them, I will tell them this. But how do I ensure that they actually read the feedback given, and the next time round they make use of the feedback given to do the work correctly? How do we ensure that the students use the feedback given? How do you ensure that students use the feedback given to them? Anyone? Would you prefer to say it out, or would you prefer to type it on Padlet? Ladies and gentlemen, would you prefer to give your answers verbally, or would you prefer to type your answers on Padlet? Type. Okay, then can you just type your answers on Padlet? Yes, because I understand that for this training, right, we have got lecturers from all different backgrounds. So certain things may work for you better, certain things may not, all right, and so it depends actually. Like for design, it says that they will have to do a resubmission based on the feedback given. Yes. What about for the other lecturers? Test students again in midterm or test? Okay. On open learning, I'll give feedback and they will have to resubmit their work, or we will just discuss during class. Okay. The question is this, if on open learning we give feedback, right? All right. And of course, depending on your subject also, they resubmit their work. But for my subject, if I were to ask them to resubmit, it's like, doing corrections. And if not, then I will have to give them a new set of questions and they will resubmit, they will redo the work. But the new set of questions will be very similar to the previous one that that was given, so that at least they would know, then I would know whether they have actually read the feedback that I've given or not, in a sense. Give them a fun pop quiz. Yeah, the keyword now these days is fun, right? Anyone else? For tests and quizzes, discuss with the students on the answers. Yeah, correct. Discuss with the students on the answers. And hopefully the students will remember it and then perform better the next time. Okay, all right, that's good. All right, so how do we make sure students use the feedback? Yes, we can actually do discussions with the students, ask the students to resubmit. Again, depends on your the subject that you are teaching, that we are teaching. All right, and also sometimes for me, writing, give them more practice. But for someone who doesn't really like to mark, then more practice means more marking, but that comes with it, right? Through verbal conversations, discussions also, all right, and also on some papers that you did there, written conversation, basically written feedback and whatnot and stuff like that also, right? So we use a variety of ways to ensure that the students have read the feedback and understood the feedback, and they will not probably make the same mistakes again like this. All right, before we move on to our task, this just came to mind. All right, we have been doing online teaching, all right, for the past 2 years due to the pandemic, and it's only from this semester onwards we have come back for a almost fully physical, at least 70% physical face-to-face class. So how would formative assessment be done differently now that is physical class? Would formative assessment be done differently in a physical class compared to an online class? I mean, we have been having a physical class from May, all right, until now it's already 1.5 months. So how different is it to do formative assessment in a physical class compared to an online class? Online class is like, we give a lecture, and then after that, we give the students a link, then do your work, then after that, that kind of thing. But how is it different now that it is in a physical class where we have to give our 2-hour lecture? Would there be any difference? You prefer to type, right?
Hi, Miss Cheong.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Xing Ping. I don't have access to the chat because this time I was logged off, then I logged in again.
The chat, as in the link, is it?
Yeah, it
Oh,
says I
okay.
don't have access to the chat.
Okay. Okay. Do you see the link again?
No.
Huh? The meeting chat. Oh.
Yeah, it
Huh?
says that I no longer has access to the chat.
Huh? I did not
Should I log
close the.
off and log in again?
Maybe you should. I'm not so
Okay,
sure.
so I leave and I join again.
Yeah. Okay. Because I think I had this problem one time also during class.
Oh, because just now my internet connection was not very good, so I was logged off, then log in again.
It's okay. Maybe you want to
So I
log
try
off
to
as
leave
well.
and I join again.
Okay, sure. Oh, okay. Our physical classes are more interactive and such we can be present in the moment, and the translation of teaching to learning is more active compared to online. Yes. But how would formative assessments be done differently in a physical class compared to online class? Now that we are having physical classes, have you changed the way you give your formative assessment? Face-to-face will be more discussion and feedback on the spot. Okay. More in-class activities. What can you give me the examples of in-class activities that you do that gives you feedback? To the one who actually type in, I think you can edit your post. For this semester, I do not have critical writing classes, so I have not had the chance to have a physical class yet. Last semester, I had 80 students, 80 or more students for critical writing online. Yeah, so next semester, I'm expecting about 80 to 90 students in the critical writing class also. So yeah, I'll probably have to be look into how I want to do my formative assessment in a physical class, especially during the lecture time. Tutorial time is basically quite all right. They do tutorials. Physical class, a mixture of assessments online and offline, in-class activities. Elevator pitch for studio presentation and word hunt for theoretical subjects. It keeps them on their feet. All right. In a way, even though we are back to physical class, we, to a certain extent, right, I would expect students to bring their laptops to physical class for the physical face-to-face lessons also, because some of the work that we do, all right, we actually get them to use apps, or we get them to fill up Google form or something like that to, you know, have a mixture of online and stuff. We actually do not print papers for them to fill up, to do the work also. Even if it's worksheet also, I'll probably upload on Open Learning, ask them to download the worksheet, fill it up or do it, whatever, that kind of thing. All right, so at least it saves paper, saves on photocopying also, except for the test or something like this. But even for tests also, as much as possible, I would actually probably want them to use exam.net to do it also, because one saves paper, another one is, yeah, it's automatically marked MCQ. Although they do the exam.net online during class time, but at least, yeah, we can see them doing it. Okay, all right. So this is just a thought. All right, how would formative assessment be done differently compared to in a physical class compared to an online class? Right. So far, any questions? Anything you'd like to share? Same thing. Yes, we are back. Okay, same thing.
Yes, I'm back.
You can see the chat box now, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Are you able to access the Padlet? Do you want me to give you the link to the Padlet again?
Yeah. That would be good.
Here you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Wait. Oh, So basically, I think we all do give some form of formative assessments to students. It's just that I think in one of the trainings that I had, all right, the trainer said that formative assessment should not be just given towards the end of the lesson, right? As much as possible, all right, your lessons, our lesson should be divided into chunks, but maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or depending on subtopic of the subtopic of the subtopic, that kind of thing. All right. And then in between, we give the students some questions to test their understanding, whether they know or not. So the in between those subtopics, right, is what we call formative assessment also. And formative assessment, as much as possible, try not to give a grade or a mark to the students. Because when the students just know that, oh, it's going to be grade, it's going to be marked, right? They just focus on the grade or the mark. But the main thing for formative assessment is you want to see whether they can actually understand what we have told them or taught them or not. All right. So in between, all right, break the lessons into chunks, and in between, don't just give them a break, but give them something to do, like a short quiz or MCQ, can just 2 or 3 questions or 5 questions, that kind of thing, to see whether they understand, and it actually helps us. If a lot of them gets the answers wrong, all right, then at least we can actually check with them very quickly now that we're in physical class, all right. What is it that they do not understand, which part and whatnot and stuff like that, and they can give us feedback. Maybe we're speaking too fast. This part we need clearer explanation, that kind of thing. All right, but of course, formative assessment also can be done at after the lesson has ended. All right, where we ask them to do as homework, to submit their work, so that this would be a more complete questions compared for the whole topic instead of the subtopic in a sense. All right, and when you ask them to do homework, of course, we would need a little bit more time to mark the homework to a certain extent. Okay, all right. So far, any questions? You good? If you are good, at least can you give me a reaction? Because it's pretty quiet. Okay, thanks, Stephanie. All right, thanks. Okay, all right, if you're all good, all right, okay, all right. Okay, before we move on to our last task, all right, can I just get to, no, I'll get to know you later. All right, cool. All right, so the last task will be this. All right, I would like you to create a lesson. You don't have to create a brand new lesson. Use a lesson that you have done already. All right, incorporate a formative assessment into any part of the lesson. If you have your PowerPoint slides already, right? You can actually show your PowerPoint slides, and after a particular subtopic, you can actually just state the kind of formative assessment that you would like students to do, or you have given to students before, right? And probably some feedback on how the formative assessment was, all right? What was the students' feedback, something like this. It doesn't have to be entire 2-hour lesson. It can just one part of the lesson only. All right, then you actually incorporate a formative assessment. Since there are only 13 people, right? So can we do this task individually? And then after that, each of you will share your lesson. Are you all good? Are you all okay? Can. All right. Same thing says can. Okay. All right. How long do you need to do this? Now it's 9:56. Can we come back at 10:15 a.m.? 10:15, okay? Okay, all right. 10:15 it is then.
I think you need to unshare your screen because we are able to see your screen.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's already 10:16 a.m. Are you ready to share your lesson? Would anyone wants to? Stephanie, yes, please do. Thank you for volunteering. Let me close my camera. Stephanie, would you like to share screen?
Looking for it.
Okay.
I opened the file and then it disappeared. Now I found it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Wait, let me open my window. Can see me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So this is
Okay,
organizational
sorry,
com.
before we start, right? Can you just introduce yourself first? Maybe your name, which department you're from, the subject you're teaching, that kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. I'm Stephanie from FCCA. The subject that I'm going to introduce and share is actually a degree class. The subject is organizational communication. The subject I'm teaching is actually organizational communication. So I'm going to share, I think I already share, right? Okay, yeah, yes, yeah. So at the every end of the lecture, so basically it's weekly lah. So you can actually see here the class code is actually MBCM 1074. This class is actually combined by four different groups of students. I'm just going to use this class code lah. Basically, this is the main one. So you can see here it's actually test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4. They're supposed to do something on the open learning, and test 5, test 6, test 7, 8 also do something on the open learning. Test 9, you see or not? All these are examples. But let me just click inside and show you. These are tests. There's basically just 10 MCQ questions example, because as I mentioned, this is actually, can you still see, right?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, yeah. So there's different class codes because there's this different class actually combined into one. So the 269 is actually the main one. So you always use that. Yeah. So this is a like I said, only 10 MCQ questions. So now I'm going to share what are they doing in the open learning. This is all basically weekly. So I try to have some variety, like some kind of blended thing, not every time like MCQ and all that. So the students also, so week 4, they're basically doing profiling tests. So they will actually understand, there are 5 profiling tests. Like basically they will know themselves better and then are able to gauge why these people around them, including the siblings, family members, and why they actually behave such a way and all that, right? So this is week 7. So week 7 is actually a case study. So this is a topic, a very short case, and then they have to answer these questions and they need to present. The instruction is actually here, right? So they have to form groups of 8, read the brief, maybe this is the brief lah, and then they have to, analyze the 6 approaches in the leadership theory, like Taylor's and all that. So then they have to do the slides and they have to present. So this is week 7. And then week 8, there's some other activity. Week 9, going back to MCQ. So this is what I did for this subject. Okay.
The tests that you give them, right? Do they contribute to the overall marks?
Yes. All these are actually assigned because this subject, right? I cannot remember. Was it 20% test is in the COPA document. That's why they mati also must do.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, right.
Okay, all right. So the test is auto mark and then the answers are given to them also, right?
The MCQ on the Google form, right, that you see the test, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, right? So these are the one is auto mark. The others, I did it in open learning, right? So I have to look at the presentation, I have to gauge, and then after they present, I have to give them the feedback like in the class, and then they'll get the marks. At the end, right, I actually create a spreadsheet to show them, T1, T2, T3, T4, all the way until T10, 10 topics, what are the marks they are getting individually, because they are like just now T7, right? Basically, they do a group. T4 is individual because it's profiling test. T8 also group. T10, I cannot remember. Yeah, so it's basically like that. Also, I have to assess and give them. Also, it's actually in the template, and I post it in the open learning to show them, this is what they are getting.
All right, cool. Okay,
right.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Anyone else would like to present? There are actually all together 11 participants. It'd be great if at least 6 of you could present. Anyone would like to volunteer? Basically like this, in my class, right, generally students would not want to volunteer to answer. So what I do is I have a cabutan berdua, I tell them, wheel of names. So basically it's like, okay, all right, I will just turn the wheel. It's like, you know, I'm not being biased. I do not know whose name will be chosen. So automatically selected by the computer. If your name is chosen, then you present, something like this. Okay, for class, I mean, you know, students being students, some of them would not want to volunteer. So yeah, we will have what they call, I will tell them cabutan berdua, as in wheel of names, and I'll show them the wheel being turned, and then, you know, that's why their name is selected, that kind of thing. Right, would anyone like to share? Someone from, Stephanie is from the UG campus. Someone from the PG campus, would you like to share? PG campus would be, sorry?
Just ask you, just now your wheel
Yes,
of names, you have to enter all the students' name inside the app, is it?
yes.
Oh, okay.
I
Can
don't know whether
accommodate how
there's
to
I don't know
can
whether there's a limit or
accommodate
not, but my students numbers were about less than 40, so they can accommodate 40 names. More than 100, I don't know.
Oh, okay, right, thanks.
Yeah, you just copy and paste from your attendance and then just copy and paste it there.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Because I do have a class CSR, right? Because the class size is like 200 over. The
Yeah.
students, right? I also do them weekly thing, right? The students, because this one is actually not how to say not part of the, there's no like assessment. So the
Yeah.
students are very much reluctant, and it's like 200 over is very hard to monitor. What I did is actually at the end, I set like one individual assessment, online assessment, yeah, and then I said you must do this weekly tutorial, because the 20 MCQ questions at the end, it will be actually coming from this tutorial. So this is one way to force them up, but still there's not full participants in the weekly MCQ questions. Actually, this is not MCQ, this is actually structured questions. Because CSR, they have to read articles and all that. So the participants is not very high. But one way to do is that I tell them, the last assessment is actually based on these articles. You must do this thing. If not, then you will not do well.
But then is there any final assessment for this subject?
This CSR, there's no assessment final. That's why it's all based on 4 assignments. So I set the last assignment as an individual assessment, right? To rely on, all this weekly thing, the articles and all that.
Because I guess if it's not graded, students do not really participate. Some students won't participate.
Even this one, I show you the outcome, right? Also, that the few students that don't care, there's actually one student fail.
Okay, I can understand that. It's like, if it's 100% coursework, right? I don't see why you just final exam, you have a limit, 40% must get 40% total minimum. But then if it's coursework one, you just do your coursework, try not to fail, basically that, test and test, but there will still be those who will try to fail, basically.
They thought like, like 20% never mind, I do well, and the other 80% I can pass good, already happy. So some also didn't bother to do this.
Yeah, correct. I mean, some just cukup makan can already lah. Right.
Yes.
Okay, Sing Ping, thank you for volunteering. Sing Ping, can you share your screen?
Yeah, okay, let me share first. So can you all see this screen?
Yes, we can see your Microsoft Teams app. Yes.
Gratuity versus compensation.
Sorry, Sing Ping, can you let us know which department you're from and what subject you're teaching?
Yeah, hi. Hi everyone, I'm Sing Ping. I'm from UG campus. I am under PAC office. I'm teaching ACCA Advanced Taxation.
Right, thank you. Hi, Sing Ping.
So my topic will be a bit technical. So this is just one of the topic that I am teaching. So usually I will just cover and tell them the difference and then the context of the law, who is eligible, what will be the condition to qualify for exemption. Then because in the final, and is also 100% written. So I will not give them any multiple choice question. Then usually end of the class, then I will give them some questions to answer, which all these questions that they have to answer will be more of thought process, whereby from here they must understand the law, then only they have to figure out what will be the answer. So it will not be direct. Like say, like the first question I said, is a director of controlled company eligible for full exemption for retirement gratuity? So you'll find that over here in retirement gratuity, my notes didn't write. But for compensation, it's written there. This exemption is not applicable to directors of controlled company. So it means that if they read the notes properly, it means that this exemption is only given if it is for compensation, but if it's not for retirement gratuity. Then like this question 2 and 3, it is more like final exam question. So we tell that this person is 58 years old, work for the company for 10 years and receive retirement gratuity. What will be the tax treatment? So when it comes to retirement gratuity, then they will have to see what the conditions that they satisfy. Like here, it is not ill health. Then if say in B, it should be say 55 above, but must have worked for the company for 10 years. So my question here is, this person is 58 years old and worked for about 9 years. So in other words, this person only satisfied 55 years old and above, but didn't satisfy work for the company for at least 10 years. So it's actually not eligible for full exemption. So they will have to tell us if it's not eligible for full exemption, then how much will be taxed. So this will be the tax treatment. So it's a bit technical. Yeah.
All right. But it's good, also good practice. Okay, the questions are pretty good to get them to think, also to apply the knowledge also. So that means the students will submit the work to you, and then you have to mark each of students' work answers individually.
No, this one is just for them to think in class, so they can actually just answer the question, just like what we are doing now. So I'll just ask a question, then prompt them to think. But end of the day, they will have assignment and progress tests. Then
Okay,
in class
right.
also, I have those full length exam style practice question for them to work. Sometimes I will make them work in class, but I won't give them enough time. Like maybe if the question will take about 20 minutes, I will tell them I'll only give you 10 minutes. Yeah.
That is to practice, get them to practice for their
Get them
exam
to
also,
practice
right?
and at least just write something down, not write a full answer for me. Because in the
Okay.
exam also, it's good also if they don't have enough time in class, so at least they learn to rush for the time, so they won't like daily I have 20 minutes, I take my sweet time, after they will be running out of time.
All right, cool. All right, thank you.
Hi, Simping. Can you share your
Yes.
slide one more time?
My slide,
What site is that?
this one,
Oh,
and the question.
so basically in class, when you have those questions, the students give you the answer. Based on the answers, you will go through again and explain to them which the kind of correct answer to look for, right?
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
I'll teach them the approach of how to find the answer, because in the exam they need to know the law, then this is how they will get in the final exam, so it's not like straightforward. And actually all this is also relevant for practice, like all of
Okay.
us in the real world is actually, you can apply all these laws also.
All right, I think Stephanie can talk to Sing Ping after this and check.
Maybe you can snap picture of this also, like if it's retirement gratuity or compensation, so this will be the exemption that we're eligible.
I don't think we have retirement gratuity in KDU.
Can propose.
I think they used to have last time, then they stopped,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
As long as it is not retirement gratuity, then you won't get full exemption.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. Like voluntary separation scheme. So you'll find that over here, my heading is called compensation for loss of employment. So I will tell them it will include things like voluntary separation scheme. So those who are actually listening to class, they will write down. I'll tell them, make sure you write down, because I want to make them write. So I won't write everything here for them.
Okay.
So if they didn't write it down, and I put here voluntary separation scheme, those who actually listening, they will know it's actually under compensation for lost employment. Those who are not listening, they will know.
Correct.
So this is to make sure they are actually attentive in class lah. They are listening.
Right. Okay, thank you. Opt for retirement gratuities, Stephanie. I think they stopped it. It was still in DJ campus, I think, because I remember getting a sum of money from them last time, PCB. Okay, all right. Anyone else? Someone from the PG campus? PG campus would be, looking at it, it would be Wendy. Yes. Wendy, are you here?
Yes, Cindy.
Sorry, I think Wendy, you are the only one from PG campus. The other one, Vanessa, she has to meet her students.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay, I'll share. Mine is quite simple.
yeah.
So this is a class that I just conducted yesterday for my students. Hi everyone, I'm actually Wendy from Penang campus and I'm from Department of Languages. So basically I'm teaching English, but my students are all in UG campus.
Okay.
Currently I have a very small class. I have 5 students only and they are all international students. Basically their background is like they have to undergo this English program before they go for their IELTS exam and get to enter to their degree, which means I'm teaching them grammar, preparing them for basically to improve their English so that they are prepared to go for their degree. So yesterday, I'm going to share my slide, which is quite simple about grammar. So I taught them about the participle adjectives, which is the difference in using adjectives ending with ed and ing. So after I finished teaching everything, so I actually test them. It's a very easy question and answer. Usually after I finish teaching, there will be a very simple question and answer session first, a few questions, then only I will move to either maybe speaking or quizzes. There will be maybe 15 to 20 questions for them to answer. Quizzes, something good about quizzes is they can take their own time. They can answer at their own pace. So from there, I will see lah. When they are answering, I will know that which students they are slower, they need more time to think. So maybe from there, from the statistic, not only knowing that a lot, maybe this particular student, he or she answered a lot of questions wrongly. So later on, when we discuss the question, I will focus more on that particular students lah. So after I finish teaching, I will, okay, this is for grammar. And then yesterday also, I taught them writing. Basically, what I will do for writing is, let me show you. Okay, so for online classes, what I do for writing is I'll discuss the question first, and then I'll divide them into into breakout rooms. So they will take their time to discuss with their partner and then write together. So I will show you their work yesterday, which looks like this. So basically this is, I use Google Slides. So I'll show them the question first. I'll discuss the points, make sure they understand the question. Then this is room 1, breakout room number 1. They will write the content, not the intro and the conclusion. So they will write paragraph 2, and another group, they will write paragraph 3. So the red color words are the mistakes that I have corrected. And then after the class, what they will do is this is open learning. So I will have a quiz with different questions. This is word wall. I use word wall also. So at their own time, they will take their time to answer the questions. After that, this is the writing that they will have to do. If you notice, the question is actually the same, which means that if they did their work during a class, of course they will know how to write. But this has to be individual work. So after they submit, of course, I will mark and give them feedback lah. Yeah.
Can they
Thank you
copy
very
from the
much.
Google slide there?
I told them they cannot copy, they can read, and then they will have to write on their own. So I told them, of course, if they copy, I will know lah.
Correct.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.
You. And yeah, that's all from PG. Would Aswa or Nohaiza like to share? Aswa or Nohaiza?
I can go first. Hi.
Okay.
Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
Aswa. I've seen you before. Oh, okay.
Okay, so let me introduce myself first. My name is Azwa. I'm from UJ campus and I'm attached with SHTCA. I'm teaching hospitality, tourism, and events. Diploma and degree, both diploma and degree students. So allow me to share what I have for my assessments. I mean, in-class assessment basically. Share. All right, I hope you guys can see my screen now.
Yes.
Can? All right, and I'll show you a few. This is what I did in class. Some of it I did it before, and some of it I will do it at the end of the lesson. Okay, before the lesson, at the first class, usually I'll do this kind of pull everywhere. This is like to understand your students, how well do they understand about certain topic. For example, like this one, based on event management. So I ask students in class, what do you understand with, or what do you know about event management? And then they will give all their answers here lah. Then from here, I will extract like, basically this one is like what you use just now, that application, almost the same one. And I'll get all these responses and I can put it in this word cloud. I'll then explain to them, oh yes, if the event is a planning, event is something to do with the process, event is something to do with financial, for example. And this is during the beginning of the lesson. And then at the end of the lesson, I might give them quizzes. Quiz it can be both either MCQ questions or even fill in the blank questions. Example, why I love quizzes is that I would be able to check on individual performance. Example, like this one, I did it live in class. The what is culture? And what is culture? I did it live, and this is the participants. Then I can see how well they understand that particular day's topic. For example, like this one, the students perfect. So I can check his or her answers because I can check here if they are answering correct, which questions that they answer incorrect. Like this one, the red color is incorrect. Or also it could be a sign asynchronous assessment, like this one. This one is, if I'm not mistaken, MCQ question. So same one. Even I can see overview. Okay. Which questions that students find difficult to answer, I can get it from here as well. This one MCQ lah. Kalau if it is fill in the blank also possible, because quiz is allows us to put what are the exact words that we want from the answers. For example, this one, overview. So I can see. So what answers that they put also I can see from here. So it will be much more easier for me to understand the students better based on this assessments at the end of the session. Right, that's it from me.
Sorry, let's say for example, right, if you have like question 11, none of the students got it correct?
Then I'll double check with them. I'll go through with that particular parts again with them, and then I'll tell them where they can get these particular answers and so on.
All right, okay. So in a way, it's very quickly you get to know which area that they are weak in, and then you can very quickly go through it, right?
True, yeah. Correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Right. You're most welcome.
Okay, and Karen, would you like to share? Karen? Karen here? Karen, are you here? No, then SCCM Asma. Is there a Lee Nyok Ling here? Lee Nyok Ling?
Yes, Cindy.
Nyok Ling, which department are you from?
SHTCA.
Okay. Since we got Aswa already, we will wait for that. Siti Intan?
Same SHTCA.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe later, yeah. All right. Asma from SCCM, are you here? Asma? Yes. Asma? No. We have Alicia Wong. Oh.
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Alicia.
Hi, Miss Cheong. So I'm Alicia. Actually, I'm from TLC. So I just joined not too long ago, just like about 1.5 months. So my main role actually is to do training.
Right.
Yeah, so I will just share my screen with you on the past training that I've done with the ACCA students on the NDP courses.
Oh, what is NDP?
Nurturing program, I think. So it's mainly on like leadership skills and so on and so forth.
Right. Hi, Dr. Alicia. I haven't met you before.
I have not like truly. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, lollipop.
Yeah. So this is just an example on the leadership training. So this is part of the topic about what lollipop moments are. So usually for my last training, that what I did was I just give them an overview like what is a lollipop moment at the PowerPoint slides first before moving on to the open learning. So I use like after explaining it, I will ask them to go to the open learning. And I usually will find some videos because these are all like personal development skills. So I would much prefer like to get some motivational videos for them to watch together. So I will have them to watch this video, and after that, I will also ask them to do the quizy like what Miss Azwa and Miss Wendy has done. Yeah, yeah. Basically, this is what I have did lah.
Okay, all right. That's good also. Because if they just watch the video and there's no task for them to do, they're just watching lah, basically, right?
Yeah. So that basically just something very short and simple from me lah. Yeah.
All right. Okay, cool. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Just now that one I had. Nyok Ling, Siti, Intan, and Nohaiza. Would any one of you like to present?
Hello, Sin. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm sorry, I cannot open up my camera since because I at home.
It's okay. It's okay.
Very
Right?
much
We understand.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So actually, basically, this semester, I going for example for this semester. I'm teaching diploma students. Okay. Whereby first of all, because this subject consists of two different programs, which is one is hotel management and culinary arts management, culinary arts. So what I want to share with you is I need to identify first their level of thinking. Okay, because of from my history, even though this subject is a combination subject of two different programs. So in terms of the learners, thinking is totally different. So I need to ensure that I engage with them in the in the same level of understanding. Can you see my
Yes.
my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can see.
Okay. First of all, because of this is a introduction subject for hospitality industry. So I list out in terms of learning outcome. So in order me to achieve the learning outcome, for example, define the meanings first. So this one, like how others lecturers did is to do, and my style is every learning outcome I will do like a short quiz, and I will do like verbally interaction with the students. Like for example, like this learning outcome to define the meanings, right? So in order me to understand how their understanding, the level of understanding about this learning outcome. So I come up with like a variety of what you call formative assessments such as this quiz is. So can see that most of the students, from this first exercise, I can see their level of understanding, and from that one, I will identify which students is need to be more intention compared than others. That's the way how I'm doing. For example, like the students maybe the accuracy of the understanding is very lesser than others. So every lessons, I will not say that I pinpoint her, but I try to make sure that in the end of the lessons, she can pick up in terms of what should she understand according to the learning outcome. So this is the way how I did in terms of my class. So I need to, in order me to understand the students' learning levels, so I need to make sure that I do a short quiz, formative assessment first after the certain topic. So from that one, I can identify which student is very low and which is high or medium. So this is the way how I hit my classes.
Okay, all right, that's good. Okay.
Curious, no, Haiza. Just now the 100% accuracy, how come I see 100% accuracy, the same 100% accuracy, some scores are lower?
Oh, because that one is quiz, those who answer because it's timing. Because we can answer like in a short time, so the mark will be higher. Even though the answer is correct, but I didn't go for for the students, they love to do this kind of way because they want to see their ranking, right? So actually for me, like, yeah, that one is just to add some like entertainment in class. But for me, my outcome is I just want to see how they are understanding towards that kind of topic. So if let's say they can answer correctly according to the question, so I can see that they are understand. So that one is just for entertainment, right? The marks.
Competition also, I
Yeah,
suppose.
competition. Because
Yeah.
student, like diploma student, because they are different with degree students. So when my class, I need to identify the learners at skill level. So how they want to the class. Like my diploma student, I always do like this kind of formative like quiz online, because every time when I say that okay, we do quiz like that, they're like, oh miss, okay, I really love this kind of things. Like Quizlet, actually I can see that's why I give the example Quizlet, because Quizlet is more to groups assessment, just to see how they're well in the teamwork. This one is like quite good feedback from the student, because they love to be around with the team, and from that one they will discuss in terms of what actually the area need to be improved from other team member. So yeah, this is from my experience and observation into this different group of learners. Yeah.
Okay, great. Perhaps you can have one last person to share. Anyone else? Okay, I have Waylon, Nohaiza, Siti Intan, or Karen. Any one of you? Oh, okay, Siti Intan. Please get well soon. Drink lots of water. So it would be Waylon, Nohaiza, and Karen. Would any one of you like to share? Nohaiza, Waylon, Karen, are you here? Oh, okay, all right. Okay, all right. Thank you very much for attending this session and also for sharing your experiences. All right. Basically, we are at the end of the training already. So basically, we just need to remind ourselves that formative assessment, we need to actually give formative assessments as and when needed, so that we can know where the students are and how much they have understood our lesson. All right, and we will not want to get shocked at the end of during the final exam or test, when we get their results and we realize that what they understand is not what we understand that they have understood, that kind of thing. So yes, thank you very much. If we have no questions, we will see each other in campus one of these days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hazim, I'm Cindy, not Shinyi. There's a Shinyi in Penang campus. Yes, thank you. It's okay. Seng Ping, just call me Xin Yi. Don't call me Miss Chiang. My students call me Miss Chiang.